Okay, I think the YouTube's been set up now, so let's give it a couple of more minutes, Sandeep, and then we can.
Yeah, sure. So, I was asking Nairobi if they record any of their lectures, and they said, record or publish any of their lectures, and they don't. And they said they've spoken to the committee, but their committee said no. So I said that's a bit strange because if you did it, then at least people would be able to listen to it in their own time.
Yeah.
But it's up to them, I guess.
They have a YouTube channel there, right, or not?
No, I don't think so. I think that, they don't seem to be like very concerned about any of that. It's like they are doing their own learning and that's it. But I just told Meena that you need to think wider.
Yeah, they must get a good group as well in their class, I'm presuming, right?
Yeah, I think they get about 30 people. I mean, they've got these regular people who've been going for like years, regularly attending, and who are, now able to understand, because these are people I've known, but it is what it is. I guess it's something that they have to make a decision, and yeah. But it does sound strange, but it's up to them.
Yeah, especially now, I guess there's an audience that's worldwide, isn't it? So people can always pick up.
I mean, people from India or even, rest of the world can tune in.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Okay, shall we start?
Yeah, I think let's kick off. So Jai Jinendra, and welcome everyone to another Friday class. We're going to continue with Gurudev's book, Amarvani. But before we do that, I see Parul's already folded a hand. So Parul, if I can ask you to do the Nauka mantra, please.
Okay. Jai Jinendra, everyone. Namo Arahantaram, Namo Sitaram, Namo Ayariyaram, Namo Uvajayaram, Namo Luisavasahuram, Namo Luisavasahuram. Esa Panchanamokkaro Sarva Bhava Parashara Mangalarancha Sarvesim Patamang Havai Mangalam Patamang Havai Mangalam.
Thank you very much, Parul, Ben, for that wonderful start. Welcome, everyone. Jai Jinendra. As I said, we're going to continue with Gurudev's book, Amarvani. And today we have our own wonderful teacher, Sandeep Bhai, who's going to run the session. It's on devotion, I understand, Sandeep Bhai. So we'll obviously try and see how we can continue to pick up so many good morals from this book that we can take into our day-to-day life. So without further ado, if I can hand over to Sandeep Bhai.
Jai Jinendra, everyone. So we started off with this prayer, Naukar mantra, and we all know that Naukar mantra is a prayer to the Panch Parmeshtis. There is no Tirthankar, there is no name in that prayer, but it is dedicated to the values of those great personalities more than anything else. But interestingly, it starts off with Namo Arihantanam. It doesn't start off with Arihantanam Namo, right? So when we say Namo Arihantanam, we are bowing to what and to who? Obviously Namo means bowing down. And Arihantanam means we are bowing down to those values that Arihant Bhagwan represents, Siddh Bhagwan represent, the sadhus represent. But more importantly, we are bowing down to whatever qualities which are present within us, which are capable also of reaching those great heights that these great personalities have reached. And that is why Naukar Mantra is regarded as Maha Mantra, because it is not only just, okay, there are no names or, it is not even remembering the Panch Parmeshtis. It's more about the fact that there is the whole process of bowing down, the whole process of surrendering yourself. And today's lecture is going to be just on that. It's devotion and it's on faith. So if I can just share my slides, please, so you won't see my face, which is not such a bad thing either. So start from the beginning. So yes, this is chapter 3. So we've done chapter 1 and chapter 2 of Gurudev Upadhyay Sri Amar Muniji's book. This is chapter 3. And Amar Vani, as it is called, or it is such an incredible book. It might seem that it's very obvious, but there is a lot of depth in what Gurudev's thinking was. So what do you understand by faith, if I may ask people who are there, and what is the difference between faith and devotion? Anyone?
So my understanding of faith is that you really believe in whatever it is, that you think that is the reality, that's the truth.
Okay.
And if you have faith in, say for example, Mahavir Bhagwan, or faith in Acharya Shriji, then your devotion will automatically follow. You will automatically be devoted to what they represent.
Yes. Anybody else?
You believe in yourself.
Sorry?
You believe in yourself.
Yes, you believe in yourself. Yes. Anybody else?
Yeah, I was going to say it is having faith is like Samyak Darshan. So where you understand, you have experience of who you are, or you understand who you are, and as you are, others are. That experience is what faith, and that brings faith. That faith is Samyak Darshan, according to what I think. And
yes, so I think you are all correct, because it is a belief in your capabilities, but it is also belief in whatever path you are following, whether in the material world or in the spiritual world. It is whatever path you are following, or whatever you're trying to do. If you don't have faith in yourself and in that process, then you would be, otherwise you'd be lost. And faith and devotion, as Rasila said, comes with when there is belief, then there is a lot of devotion to that that supreme soul, or that great personality, or whatever that your beliefs are in. So according to Tattvat Sutra, the second verse is Tattvat Shraddhanam Samyak Darshanam, obviously. Rita, when you mentioned. Now, Samyak Darshan is a five-petaled lotus, and it is Sham, Samveg, Nirved, Astha, and Anukampa. And basically, what it means is Sam or Sham is dissolution of passions. Samveg is where you burn there is that intense desire within you that I want to attain liberation. Nirved is where you try and detach yourself from worldly things. Astha is faith, right? So that is a very important part of Samyak Darshan. Faith in the teachings of the spiritual masters. And of course, Anukampa, which comes automatically, as Rita, when you mentioned that when you see other living beings as yourself, and compassion automatically comes from within you. So this is what Jain Darshan says, Tattvat Shraddhanam Samyak Darshanam. Now, so Gurudev says, you are a living soul. You are not merely matter, nor bricks, not bricks and stones. You should decide first what you want to be. Whatever you want to be, you can be. But the prerequisite for it is that you should have faith. You should deserve it. And as soon as the bud blossoms forth into a flower, innumerable honeybees gather around it, singing songs in its praise uninvited. So whatever you want to be, you can be, but you need faith and you should deserve it. What does this mean? What do you understand by you should deserve it? What do you think Gurudev was trying to say when he said you should deserve it?
Does it mean that does it mean that if you put effort in it, then you will get it? Is that what it means? I don't know.
Yeah, it does. There is more to it as well. Anybody else?
No, I think I agree with Jay. Whatever faith we have, to uplift ourselves or to go the other way, whatever faith we have, we deserve. So we have to accept the outcome of that.
Barabar. Anybody else?
So I think, like Rita Ben and Jigna Ben said, when he says you should deserve it, means you really whatever outcome you get will be on how deep your faith is. So if you have real faith, then you will get what it is that will happen with that faith.
So the two things that you need to have an intense desire within yourself for whatever you want to be, that is what you are trying to achieve. That's the first thing. But there's a very famous parable about this, and it is actually in the Upanishad as well, where this disciple goes to a guru and says, look, I want to learn whatever there is about religion. And the guru says, yeah, I will do it. But, first you need to do this. And secondly, you need to do that. And, after many, many days, the disciple gets like fed up and tired, saying, well, look, I keep on wondering when Gurudev is going to actually give me this, instruction on religion. And then the Gurudev says, okay, fine, you really want to know, you bring me a cup. And while he's talking, he pours tea from that kettle or whatever teapot into this cup. And he continues pouring, and he continues pouring, and he continues pouring, and he continues pouring until the cup is overflowing and the tea is spilling onto the ground. So the disciple asks, Gurudev, this is all full up. Why are you doing this? And Gurudev says, precisely the reason that you are so filled up with your preconceived notions, with your other thoughts, that I cannot fill you up. So when Gurudev says you should deserve it, you normally go as an empty vessel in whatever you are trying to do, and you open yourself up. And when you open yourself up is when somebody can pour something within you. And that is what Gurudev is trying to say, that yes, you need to be available. You need to have that intense desire. You need to be you need to want that faith, but it is more important that you allow that you become like a flute, as Advichi keeps on using, that the song divine can play through you. Yeah. So the next thing is, faith is the greatest power in human life. It is by the power of faith that man can win his difficulties and attain the goal of his life. A man of faith is never defeated. He never falls, he never dies. Faith is an antidote against death. Faith is life, skepticism is death. A man who has no faith in himself, no faith in others, and no faith in high ideals of life cannot win the faith of anybody in the world. He cannot be anybody's true friend. So basically what Gurudev is saying is that without faith, mankind would never have achieved what it has done in terms of the advances in science, in terms of advances in whatever, space exploration, whatever. Because we had faith, because we had that conviction that it is achievable. That is why we have advanced so much. Similarly, on the spiritual front, we've had these great masters who have come over the centuries to us, Gautam Buddha, Mahavir, Jesus Christ, Muhammad, so many great personalities who have, Srimad Rajchandra. If they did not have faith, they would never have achieved what they set out to achieve. When Mahavir Swami decided that he wanted to take Diksha, and yes, he held his Diksha back because his brother requested him to stay back. But within himself, from a very young age, he was convinced that this is what he wants to do. And when he set out on the path of, path of self-discovery, he had tremendous faith that he was going to achieve his result and that he would continue persevering. He never gave up. And so the question I have is, faith is an antidote against death. What do you think that means?
Shall I give a view, or is someone?
No. By all means, anybody speak. We are not that many in any case, so please speak.
I think for me, what he's trying to say with death is that death is when you give up on anything you are striving to do. So, but having an intense faith that this is achievable, even if you go through initial failures, you learn from it and you carry on progressing. So you don't give up. That's how I understand this.
Yes, true. So basically what he means is that, if you don't have faith in yourself, you don't have faith in what other people are doing, you don't have faith in higher ideals of life, basically, you are skeptical about everything, and you are not able to move forward. And Gurudev's entire Akhi Amarvani is talking about moving forward, going ahead, discovering yourself, breaking the shackles that bind you, moving forward in your spiritual ideals. That is what Gurudev's entire Amarvani and Akhu in Ijeche, it is connected with that entire thing about progressing spiritually, about moving forward spiritually, about saying that, okay, this is what I want to achieve. And what he's trying to say here is that when he says it's an antidote against death, he means that if you stagnate, if you stay back, if you don't move forward, if you don't work with faith, or you don't do anything with faith, then you are not going to be able to even live, because even living itself, it requires faith. Even crossing the street requires faith. So many activities in our daily life require faith. When you go in to see a doctor, or when you are going in for surgery, you have faith in the surgeon or in the medics who are going to attend to you. And if you did not have faith, you would definitely be dead.
I guess, Sandeep, here the other important thing is that faith brings sort of reduces our doubt, and it is doubt which brings us go back to things or not move forward. Doubt, fear, whereas if you have faith, then you're less likely to have that doubt, that fear. You can still question, but you, like I guess Bina said last week, how important it is that or Gurudev had talked about having an aim in life, having a purpose in life.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
then having that faith. Okay, no, this is the right path, and yes, I'll move forward in that direction. Whether doubts come, fear comes, but you have that resolve to just move forward.
Yes, absolutely. And that takes me very nicely into my next slide.
Can I say something here?
Yeah,
Sandeep,
sure.
the first it says that with the power of faith, the man can win over difficulties and attain goals of his life. So if you have faith and you are busy trying to attain the goal of the life, there is no fear of death. You are not even thinking about death. So you are so busy with your faith trying to attain the goal. So does that make sense? Then?
Yeah, absolutely. So apri life, as we all know, it's never true sailing, right? We have ups and downs. I'm talking about the worldly life that we all lead in, and we have ups and downs. Now, if we did not have faith, if we did not have that inner courage which faith brings about, then we would give up. And which is why a lot of people, if you notice, get into a state of depression. People commit suicide simply because there is that lack of faith. I'm not criticizing anyone here, but at times there is that lack of faith within oneself, that strong faith that I am capable of doing this and I will still do it. And there are again lots of examples of people who have, in the face of all odds, have moved forward. People who've lost their limbs, people who've lost their things, and yet they have that inner faith in themselves and the fact that they are trying to achieve whatever goal that they set to achieve, and they're able to do it. It might be a struggle, it might be difficult, but they're still able to do it.
Yeah, thank you.
So, once a great man happens to have the glimpse of truth, he sets out to pursue it ceaselessly and unflinchingly. Great men may wear away their body, even lose their life, but they will not deviate an inch from the path of truth. They forget every other path except the path of truth. In their dictionary, there is no term like deserter of faith. Now, the examples that I was thinking about, the two examples, there are many examples in Jainism, but the Gatsuk Mal and Mahavir Swami. So Gatsuk Mal, as everybody knows the story, was about to get married to this lady. And what he does was he decides to take Diksha. And he basically informs everyone that he's going to take Diksha, and he goes into, I think, a cemetery or somewhere to basically meditate. And his father-in-law is so angry with him that while he was meditating, he takes a whole, like a bucket of coal, burning coal, and places it on his head. And Gatsuk Mal was so intent in his sadhana, he was so devout and he was so full of faith that he, even though that thing started burning him and he gradually obviously got burnt, he still never gave up on his faith. He never sort of, he never left his samta bhav, his meditative state. He never left it. And of course, there is Mahavir Swami, the great example of Mahavir Swami. કે એને આટલા બધા ઉપસર્ગ આવ્યા હતા, એને the worst, the most heinous was Sangamdev, અને કેટલા બધા, so many troubles he was given by Sangamdev. He was made to suffer. There were fire, there was snakes, there was all kinds of things that were done to him. But Mahavir Swami never left his faith. Mahavir Swami was so convinced that this is what I want to do, and this is why, and he never ever moved, even at the cost of losing his life. He never did. So, these are the great people who have done. Mirabai drank poison in the court when she was accused of having another lover. And she just said, "Mere to girdhar Gopal dusaro na koi," and that is the kind of faith that this people had. Narsi Mehta sang to Girdhar, "You are the only person who will protect me." And there are so many examples. Gautam Buddha went from village to village. He was attacked by, he was accused by Ajatshatru. He was, made to suffer. There were people who threw stones at him. He still continued on that path. So this is what faith does. And if you are really convinced, if you are really focused, if you really within yourself want it, then you are able to move on that path. Any questions so far, or any comments, or anything anybody wants to say? No? Okay. Faith in self.
One thing
Sorry.
which I wanted to just say is that this is tough, because when some little thing happens, then you start wavering, you start having doubts. So I guess what is Gurudev saying with regards to how we can sort of get this sort of faith where whatever happens to you, it will not touch you, and not just touch you, but you will still have compassion. I think that's the thing, that you have so much compassion.
But Rita, compassion is a byproduct of the fact that when within yourself you realize, okay, you are the same as other living beings. At the moment, the compassion we feel is more because we do not want to see other living beings suffering. But the true compassion, the true empathy only comes, and that is, it is a compassion which is full of samta. So while you feel for that, you do not grieve. You do not do like, bicharo. You do not have that. You do out of the fact, out of the feeling, oh, આ મારા જેવી જ આત્મા છે, એને પણ મારા જેમ જ ઈચ્છા છે to live or to progress or whatever, and therefore એનો એ હક થાય, that kind of compassion. Not where we get swayed by people's emotions, or not that kind of compassion. So there is a difference in compassion. Now Gurudev says that yes, you are going to fall back. There will be moments in your life where you will waver. But if deep within you nurture this samarpan bhav, this absolute devotion, and his actual chapter is actually called devotion, although it is talking about faith. But faith and devotion are quite, as we said at the beginning, that they are both connected. And Gurudev says that Samarpan Bhav will come when you are ready to surrender, when you are ready to accept કે જે થાય છે એને થવા દ્યો, જે નથી થતું એ પણ નથી થવાનું, અને જે થાય છે એ થશે, અને you can only do or move forward in your path the way you perceive and the way you want to move forward, right? So, any satya, of course, you need to understand your own self. So, if you do not understand your own self, if you do not have a faith in your own abilities, if you do not understand tamara potana bhav andarthi, then even to move forward becomes difficult. So he says that you need to understand yourself, and that is why in the first 2 chapters he talked about courage. He says ke tame himmat rakho. Downfalls will come, pitfalls will come, you will tumble and you will fall, but learn to stand up and move forward again.
Yeah, very true. It's like I was just thinking કે આપણને થોડુંક ઓલું દાજી જાય તો આપણને કેટલું ઓલું થાય, દુખે ને બળે ને એવું ને. Then someone like Gaja Sukhamal, he was so completely in Samarpan, completely detached, and that is possible, if he could. Bhagwan said, if that you can have that same potential in you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, there is Anand Ganjini, Chovisima, I think when he's talking about Neminath Prabhu, where he says, aho mujne, bowing down, he basically means I bow down to myself. Because he reaches such a stage, Anand Ganjini Chovisima, he reaches such a stage, he doesn't see himself different from a Tirthankar. And this is what Samarpan is. When you surrender, you become one with God. The whole idea of Mirabai is merging with Krishna is not that she physically actually merged with Krishna. She just surrendered herself so much that she basically just connected herself with Krishna, and she said, whatever he is, I am. And આખું ભાગવત ગીતાનો જે સાર છે એમાં, as we move forward in chapter 5 and chapter 6, as we go forward, when Krishna reveals his Virat Swarup to Arjun, he actually says, and when he says, come unto me, what he's trying to say is, you and me are the same, there is no difference. And this is what he is trying to tell Arjun. So do not be scared. You have to do your duty, but you and I are part of this bigger Prakriti, and we need to look at the bigger picture. So the next one is faith in self is faith in God. He who has no faith in the self, who is weak and coward, can find no shelter anywhere. Even the innumerable gods of heaven cannot make a cripple stand upon his legs. So basically, you have to believe that it can be done. When you believe that something can be done, and you really believe, your mind will find ways to do it. And believing a solution paves the way to the solution. So, તમારામાં આપણામાં, you see the reason why આપણને સમ્યક દર્શનની પ્રાપ્તિ નથી થતી is because we are always with skepticism. જરાક જ આપણને જરાક કે કદાચ આ સાચું નહીં હોય, કદાચ આમ નહીં હોય. હવે if you have said કે હું જૈન ધર્મને માનું છું, if you have said કે હું ભગવાનની વાણીને માનું છું, અને if you have said કે ના જે છે ઈ સાચું છે, or not સાચું છે, but કે ઈ મને it will guide me onto the right path, અને તમને તમારા સેલ્ફમાં બિલીફ હોય કે હા આ બરાબર છે અને આ મારે કરવું છે, તો then no one can stop you. And we've had even great. I'm not talking about great souls, but I'm even talking about great personalities, who have achieved so much. Mahatma Gandhi achieved akhu liberation of India. Srimad Rajchandra achieved so much. Martin Luther King achieved so much in the USA. All these people who have been revolutionaries, they've always had faith in the self. And if you don't, so Gurudev is saying કે તમે પોતામાં માનો તો તમે ભગવાન બની શકશો. તમે એમ સમજો કે તમે નર છો તો તમે નારાયણ બની શકશો, પણ તમે એમ ના સમજો કે તમે નર છો તો તમે નારાયણ કેવી રીતે બનો. Yeah. So the sun gives its light equally to all without favor or prejudice. The ordinary mirror merely reflects its image and does nothing beyond it. But the polished concave mirror of stone absorbs the rays of the sun and develops so much of the heat that it can burn anything. The sun cannot be blamed for this difference. It depends upon the individual talents of the recipient. If you live in the company of noble souls without developing any love or faith in them, you will get little benefit from them like the ordinary mirror. But if you have love and faith, you can derive much benefit from them like the concave mirror. So basically what Gurudev is trying to say is that તમે મોટા great personalities ના lectures સાંભળો, તમે great personalities ને મળો, તમે એ લોકોના ગમે તે સાંભળો, એ લોકો તો તમને એનો પ્રકાશ આપી દે. એ પ્રકાશ તમારે શું કરવું છે, whether you want to just push it back and tell other people, oh, aane aam kidhu, nolai aam kidhu, or do you want it to come within you and heat you up so much that tamarama under transformation thai jai and you become something else from what you were? And this is what Gurudev is trying to say. And therefore what he says, and it is very important, that if you live in the company of noble souls without developing any love or faith in them, you will get little benefit from them like the ordinary mirror. And I'll give you my personal example. So when I first met Taima, in Kenya, there was I met Srila Piji Maharaj first, and immediately there was something just happened between her and me, and there was a connection. But through her, of course, I met Taima, because Taima came a number of times and I met her. But when we had gone to Kutch and Taima was there, and she obviously made time for because there was only myself and my wife. She made a lot of time for us. And when I went into her presence, automatically you bow down, and I started crying. And even now I visualize, and I still get I get emotional about it, but it was something really, really, incredible. And she just laid her hand on me, and that was it. Nothing happened after that. Of course, then Sadhvijis came, and we had Swadhyaya and whatever. But it was just those moments, and this is what being in the presence of great personality does. That when you are in their presence, you just want to continue being in their presence. You do not want to move away from their presence. And this is what things should. I'm not saying that it's transformed me. Please do not get me wrong. I'm just giving you my experience. So right belief depends on the acquaintance with truth, on devotion of those who know the truth. There is no right conduct without right belief, and it must be cultivated for obtaining right faith. Without right faith, there is no right knowledge, and without right knowledge, there is no virtuous conduct. So basically what it is trying to say is that તમને શ્રદ્ધા હોય તો તમને સચ્ચાઈનું ઓળખાણ થાય, તો તમારામાં સમર્પણ ભાવ આવે. પણ સમર્પણ ભાવ આવે જ્યારે કે તમને શ્રદ્ધા હોય તો તમારામાં સમર્પણ ભાવ આવે, અને એની સાથે તમારું ચારિત્ર or conduct બદલાય. And that can only come about if you have faith. And it must be cultivated so that right faith આવી જાય. અને જો right faith ના આવે તો knowledge પણ ના આવે, because there is no point in having knowledge without faith. અને એની સાથે તમારું ચારિત્ર બદલે નહીં. So this is from the Uttaraധ്યાન Sutra. And basically what I'm trying to say here, or what I want to convey to you people, is that these are all connected. Tamarama jo samarpan bhav ave to it is because of faith. Tamarama devotion ave to it's because of faith. તમારામાં અંદરથી રાઈટ બિલીફ આવે તો તમને તમારું જ્ઞાન તમને ત્યારે હેલ્પ કરે કે તમને રાઈટ બિલીફ આવે. અને એકલું જ્ઞાન હોય તો રાઈટ બિલીફ it is useless without the right belief, without actual faith in yourself. Okay, any comments, any questions? Does it make sense? So before you can do anything, you must fix up your aim or ideal. You should know where you have to go and where you have not to go. What you have to do and what you should not do, and what you want to become and what you do not want to become. Unless you have a clear picture of this, you will not be able to do anything or become anyone. So, I have two images. One is aiming high, so when somebody is trying to shoot an arrow, they aim for the target. Similarly, when anybody is making a great painting or a sculpture, they have an imagination in their mind as to what they want to do. And once they have that imagination, that is the thing that they try to create. And the same thing applies to us in everyday life, that if we don't fix our aim, you will be wandering from here to there, to there, to there. And that is why when people tell me, oh, that is fine, but you need to be very clear in your mind where you want to go and what you want to do. You cannot say, because that is just a wavering mind, and wavering minds will never move forward.
But I think this
Sorry?
I said, I think this paragraph means even more than that. So even if you believe in Jainism, you really need to say, but this is what I want to achieve in this life, in this faith, and keep that goal in mind and work towards it.
And you set mini goals, and then you set a bigger goal, and you try and achieve the mini goals, and as you are achieving the tiny goals, you are moving forward in the direction you want to go. Absolutely, you are right. At the time of sowing, the farmer throws away the seeds into the soil. He does so in a spirit of faith that the seeds would sprout forth in the future. If so, is it not desirable that you should also have faith while following the path of dharma? And obviously, the two examples that come to my mind is Bhaktamar Stotra. So when Mantung Suri was called into the court because the Vedic priests were doing little miracles, and there was a discussion, and they said that Jain monks are also very learned, and Mantung Suri is called into the court in Avanti, and he's told, and Mantung Suri actually says, us Jain monks, we never show chamatkar, because all our efforts are directed towards purifying our soul and achieving moksha. And then the king says, no, but you have to do something. And Mantung Suri says, okay, fine, just lock me. And the king locks him up and ties him up with 44 or 48 different locks. But Mantung Suri's faith was so strong. Anetame Bhaktamar Stotra Sambro or Vacho, it is dripping with faith. There is devotion, there is samarpan, and there is faith. And there is comparison of Rishabdev Bhagwan to great natural events, like the sun, the moon, the lotus flower, so many allegories, but it is just devout, it is just full of faith, and it is dripping with faith. The second one I thought of was Sati Sulsha. And Sulsha was a devotee of Mahavir Swami. And when Mahavir Swami entered Raj, he was actually in Champapuri, and then he was going to Raj Graha, and he meets this wandering monk, and he tells the wandering monk, the wandering monk was going to Rajgraha, and he says, if you are going to Rajgraha, please give my regards to Sulsha and give her Dharma Labna Ashirvad. And this wandering monk had this ability to change form. So he said, okay, I want to, he started thinking about Sulsha. So he changed his form so many times. He became Brahma. The whole town went to worship him, but Sulsha, never went. He went as a yati. They basically went as a monk to her house to seek alms, but he asked for living matter. And Sulsha said, she was very strong, and she said, "Nay, Gurudev, I cannot give you this. I will give you whatever I have in my house, and I'll serve you that. But I do not keep any matter, and I do not serve that to sadhus." Then he turned himself into a Tirthankar, Pachisma Tirthankar. And the whole town went to, because they said Tirthankar. And then this Muni sent a message to Sulsha, because she didn't go. So he sent a message to Sulsha saying, "Why you not come? Because I'm a Tirthankar. If you are a believer in Tirthankars, then you should come and worship me." And Sulsha's answer to the messenger was that if he was truly a Tirthankar, the entire world would have known that the Tirthankar has been born. He would not need to ask people to come and visit him. People would automatically be going to him, because the Tirthankar's attraction, the Tirthankar's magnetic powers, the Tirthankar's personality, the presence is so vast that everybody would wish to be in the presence of a Tirthankar. And that is when this Muni takes a proper form, and he gives Tulsha blessings, and then he says Mahavir Swami has given dharma labh, and Tulsha became prostrate. She actually lay on the ground facing in the direction where Mahavir Swami was giving his lecture. So this is what that faith is, this absolute faith that this is the right path for me, and this is what faith does, that no matter what happens, I have faith, I'm going to do this. This is my dharma. અને આ ધર્મ હું ફોલો કરીને મારું પોતાનું salvation હું try કરીશ, whatever I can in this life, whatever I can in the next life, and I will gradually move forward. And this is what our aim should be. And this is what Gurudev is trying to say in this. So here now, Ritaben, he comes to this. Skepticism is sin. Skepticism breeds falsehood. Where there is falsehood, there can be no dharma. The mind of the faithless skeptic is a dark, bottomless pit in which scorpions, serpents, and such poisonous insects breed. His heart is full of poison, and we should guard against such skeptics. True ideal is that which can be adopted seriously and sincerely in practical life, and which may be firmly adopted forever. This ideal should not bend when hot winds of misfortune blow, or get elated when gentle breezes of joy and happiness set in. The ideal is beyond the narrow bounds of fear and allurements. The real idealist is the man who will not deviate from his chosen path of truth, even against the mightiest of storms of difficulties and hardships blowing against him. So here he talks about, this doubt. So doubt is good, but where you have skepticism, where you have people who without understanding something, challenge something, without trying to find out more depth, without analyzing whatever there is, and they keep on just for the sake of not for the sake of or just doubt without any rhyme or reason. That is not a good state to be in, and they will never be able to achieve what they want to do. Similarly, any truth that you adopt should not waver. You should move forward on that path. And even if there are problems and hardships, and there are bound to be problems and hardships, you still need to move forward on that path. And this is the gist of what Gurudev is trying to say here. Basically that, chale chalo, move forward. Things will happen, you will fall down, you will tumble, but you will still move on the chosen path. The question is that you need to be very clear in your mind that the path you want is the chosen path, and the path you have chosen is the path you want. So finally, I come to my prayer. I still have a few minutes, but this is the final prayer. Are there any questions? Because this is the end of this chapter. Does anybody want to say anything? Okay. So I will recite this beautiful prayer, okay? He who has subdued his passions and desires, who has realized the secret of universe in entirety, who has discovered upon the teaching of the right path of liberation for the benefit of all in a quite unselfish manner, who is variously termed Buddha, Mahavir, Jina, Hari, Brahma, and the Self. In him, imbued with deep devotion, may this mind of mine eternally dwell. Those who have no longing left for sense-produced pleasure, who are rich in quality of equanimity, who are day and night engaged in encompassing the good of all as their own as well as of others, who undergo the severe penance of self-effacement without finding such enlightened sense, verily conquered the pain, misery of mundane existence. May I always associate with such aforesaid holy men. May my mind be constantly occupied with their contemplation. May the longing of my heart be always to tread in their footsteps. May I also never cause pain to any living being. May I never utter untruth, and may I never covet the wealth or wife of another. May I ever drink the nectar of contentment. With pride, may I never be elated. Angry, may I feel with none. The sight of another's luck may not make me envious with his lot. May my desire be ever for dealings fair and straight, and may my heart only delight in doing good to others to the best of my abilities all the days of my life. May I always entertain a feeling of friendliness for all living beings in the world. May the spring of sympathy in my heart be ever bubbling for those in agony and affliction. May I never feel angry with the vile, the vicious, and the wrongly directed. May there be such an adjustment of things sealing with them. May my heart ever overflow with love at the sight of virtuous men. May this mind of mine rejoice always in serving them to the utmost of its power. May I be ever, never be ungrateful. May jealousy never approach me. May my longing be always for assimilating the virtues of others, and may the eyes never alight on their faults. Whether people speak of me well or ill, whether wealth comes to me or departs, whether I live to be hundreds of thousands of years old or I give up the ghost this day, whether any holds out any kind of fear, or with worldly riches he tempts me. In the face of all these possible things, may my footsteps swerve not from the path of the truth. With pleasure, may the mind be not puffed up. Let pain never disturb it, never. May the awesome loneliness of a mountain, forest, or river, or a burning place never cause it a shiver. Unmoved, unshakable firmness may it grow adamantine, and display the true moral strength when parted from the desired thing or united with that is undesired. May happiness, sorry, I can't see, so I just need to say. May happiness come to me, and may distress come near no one. Giving up hatred, sin, and pride, may the world pour forth one continuous eternal beam of delight. May dharma become the main topic of conversation in every household. May evil cease to be easily wrought. May increase of wisdom and merit of works. May men realize the purpose of human life, moksha. May distress and suffering no longer exist. May disease, epidemics, and famines cease. May people live in peace. May the exalted Ahimsa Dharma prevail, and the gospel of mercy, Ahimsa Paramo Dharma, not injuring anyone, is the highest religion, become the source of good to all. May there be mutual love in the world. May delusion dwell at a distance. May no one ever utter unpleasant speech or words that are harsh with his tongue. May men, heroes of their time, wholeheartedly work in the country's cause. May all understand the laws of truth, and joyfully sorrow and suffering endure. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you everyone for being so patient and listening to me. અને મારાથી કાંઈ આપણા ધર્મ against કે ગુરુની against કે anyone against કાંઈ બોલવાનું હોય તો મિચ્છામી દુક્કડમ. And if there are any other comments or questions, let me know. Otherwise, I have done for the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep Bhai. That was a wonderful prayer to finish on. Is there any questions for Sandeep Bhai? It's all quiet. So
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for being so patient.
Thank you.
So I think before we finish it, it's some good messages there, I think, about having unwavering faith and moving forward. So I think that's something we definitely all need to take forward. But before we finish with the prayer, sorry, Sandeep, if I can ask you to stop sharing for a second, that'll be great. Thank you. Rita Ben, can I ask you to talk about next week, the Samaik? I'll put up the poster and share, but if you just want to share about the Samaik next week.
Yeah. So next week is our annual Samaik, which we do every year. And we have children who will be taking us on a journey, teaching us and telling us about our acharyas from the past, and the present acharyas, and how they have inspired us to carry on this beautiful path, which has been shown by Bhagwan Mahavir and the other Tirthankaras. So we have our Samaik next week. We will start at, if you can come by 7:50, and we will start at 8 o'clock sharp. And you please also let all your families, your friends, your relations know about it, so they can join and see the wonderful work which our children have been doing, not just in reciting the Samaik Sutras, but actually also inspiring us on the different lives of the different acharyas and the impact which it has had on them. So with that, please, so to next week, there'll be no adult class, but we will have our Samaik event. If you have Katasano, Mupati, and Charavo, then please also keep that ready so you can do Samaik with all of us together. Thank you. I couldn't see the poster actually.
Or did it not come up?
No.
Okay, sorry, let me try again. Is that...
Okay, so here is a poster and all the details are here. The Zoom details are here. It's the same details as the adult class details, and it tells you the timing, etc. So we look forward to it. As I said, the theme is in adoration of our acharyas, our preceptors. Yeah. Thank you so
Great.
much, everyone.
Rita Ben, before you go, can you recite the Manglik? Now, when we recite the Manglik, the last one is Sharanam Pavajami, right? And Sharanam means that we are આપણે સમર્પણ થાય છે જે પંચ પરમેષ્ઠી અને એના વગર આપણો કોઈ સહારો નથી. So let's recite the Manglik, please.
Namo Arihantanam, Namo Sittanam, Namo Ayaryanam, Namo Vachayanam, Namo Loye Sappasahunam, Eso Panchanamukaro, Sappa Papa Panasano, Mangalalancha Sapvesim Padamam Have Mangalam. Chattari Mangalam, Arihanta Mangalam, Sitta Mangalam, Sahu Mangalam, Kevali Panato Dhammo Mangalam, Chattari Lo Guttama, Arihanta Lo Guttama, Sitta Lo Guttama, Sahu Lo Guttama, Kevali Panato Dhammo Lo Guttamo, Chattari Saranam Pavachami, Arhante Saranam Pavachami, Sitte Saranam Pavachami, Sahu Saranam Pavachami, केवलीपन्नतं धम्मं शरणं प्रवक्ष्यामि। शिवमस्तु सर्वजगत परहितनिरता भवन्तु भूतगणा दोषा प्रयान्तु नाशं सर्वत्र सुखी भवतु लोक। कामेमि सर्वजीवे सर्वे जीवा खमन्तु मे मित्ति मे सर्वभूतेषु वैरं मच्चन केनयि।
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. And as Ritaven said, next week, 7:50, if you can everyone join on time so we can start the Samay program on time. Look forward to seeing everyone there. And please pass the message to your friends and family. And stay safe, everyone, and have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.